able to come on. I figured I'm ready. I'm going to start early. I have a long live today. I'm doing a new format a little bit. It's the One Sheet Wonder, Mystery One Sheet Wonder. So I'm hoping you'll craft with me. I did put in the description what you would need in order to be able to craft with me. So hopefully if you wanted to craft that you've pulled that stuff out and you'll be able to follow along. You can always watch the replay too if because I'm probably not going to go overly slow. The other exciting part is today our online exclusives and the new September to December mini catalog were released today. So if you haven't, I've done a few sneak peeks. Today I'm using one of the suites from the online exclusives. So if you haven't gone and looked at that, I'm going to do a quick show and tell of the catalog and online exclusives just so you can kind of see what to go look for, and then we'll dive right into the One Sheet Wonder, which just happens to be in the mini catalog. So if you have the mini catalog, you can go look at it online and print it out, or if you are a customer and you've shopped with me within the last 6 months and you haven't got your copy of the catalog, let me know and I will send one to you. Hi, Yolande. Other than that, yeah, you can see the catalog all the time on online. I'm losing my mind. My pup has not been sleeping at night and my brain is frazzled. Anyways, let me get you turned around and we will get with the awkward transition here. All right, do I need to zoom in or is that, hopefully that's good enough. All right. So these, I just printed out the online exclusives. They actually made us kind of like a little catalog, which I hope they do. I wish they would do for previous items because I wish I had a catalog for all my items. I never know what's what. So anyways, these are the ones that were just released. I do happen to have the doggy one. I just ordered this pine one this morning. So this is the suite that I'm going to be working with today. It is called the Gathering Together Suite Collection. Super fun suite. You can actually stitch the leaves. There's a modern kind of Christmas suite. There's the pine snowflakes, which is kind of a unique. I didn't really pay much attention to it when we had the pre-order, and then I was seeing samples and other people. I was like, oh, this is actually quite unique. So anyways, I decided to get that one. And then there's some bundles. And like I said, I haven't played with this one yet, but the Pet Love, I had to have that. And there's a punch if you like punches. And then there's some specialty paper, stamp. Now, I can't remember if I've said anything. They are changing. Cling stamps are going to be retired forever. They're going full photopolymer as of November, I want to say, except for the stuff that's already here. And they are repackaging their items. A bit crooked. Oh, I'm crooked. Oh, I am crooked. Look at that. How is that? Let's see. Is that better? There's a delay in my... it still hasn't switched. Oh my goodness. That's quite the delay. Oh, now it's facing the other way. I can't win. Okay. I think that's almost straight. All right. Anyways, this is the mini catalog. There's some beautiful this is mostly Christmas. There is some fall. I'm going to be doing, I still haven't put out my classes. There are mini classes coming. There's a garland kit with leaves that I'm going to turn into a wreath. So if you guys are interested in joining me for that, there's lots of scrapbooking kits that were released. I'm gonna do what do you call it? A card crank, probably with this set. There's lots of possibilities. Oh my goodness, it was so hard to pick and choose. This is a beautiful suite, this Traditions of Christmas. Huge suite with 2 bundles. I think I showed this one anyways. And then there's this cute North Pole delivery. I didn't get this one, not yet anyways. I waffled on it. I really like the little box, and I like the dogs in the paper. What I don't like is when they're not in the stamp necessarily. Like, it matches, but it doesn't match. So anyways, that's my decision-making process. Beautiful, beautiful. This is another set that I got that I haven't played with yet, but this will be a good fall one. This is another beautiful, this is the Autumn Twill. So this is the suite that is coordinating with this month's Paper Pumpkin. If you are wanting to try the Paper Pumpkin, or you're just not subscribed, make sure you get this month's Paper Pumpkin. You have till September 10th to go online and subscribe. And it is going to coordinate with this. So I was thinking, if you are interested in doing the One Sheet Wonder, you could always just get the designer series paper and use that with the Paper Pumpkin and be able to probably make some beautiful cards. Lots of cards. This is also where you can find the One Sheet Wonder. Now there isn't numbers in the catalog. I added the numbers because Stampin' Up! Did a craft along event for demonstrators, and so we were able to walk along, and they actually gave us all the measurements. I mean, you can kind of figure it out yourself, but I will give measurements today as we go. I'm hoping, or I'll just have to take the time, that they will show how these frames were made. I think they are so cute, and to make them with any of the designer series paper would be cool. So I'm not sure if they're gonna, if there's gonna be something somewhere that shows you how to make that, but that would be cool. So today I'm gonna do this One Sheet Wonder, but with the other online exclusive fall set. This matches the, yeah, so there's more scrapbooking kits that go with the suites. This fluffy squirrel, I have a few squirrel people out there who love their squirrels. So this bundle is a great one. It's a punch though, so I know, Marcy, you don't like punches. But there's beautiful words, and the background dies. This one I'm excited for. It has the stencils for the snowflakes, so that's always endless possibilities. The cute gingerbread man. I love this one. It's just a stamp set, and then there's more of these words that that you can emboss and cut out at the same time. Some standalone tags if you're a Christmas tag person. What else? I think that's, and then there's a couple of these are cling, so I think they're kind of starting in November. I think it's while supplies last, and then once they're gone kind of thing. So if there are cling sets that you like, which this autumn one that I'm using from the online exclusives is a cling. This one I think is photopolymer. There's the no, they are cling as well. Apparently fall is cling. All right, so I've got my One Sheet Wonder here. And then if you looked, well here, let me show you the suite first that I'm using. So I recommended to have a suite and or bundle and coordinating designer series paper. When I say coordinating, I just mean like something that goes with. It doesn't have to be part of a suite per se. So this is the Gathering Moments. This is, so you can cut out the leaf just as the leaf, or you can add in the inside piece and get those stitching dots in order to be able to stitch your leaves, which is kind of cool. And all these ones cut out the stamps. And then there's an embossing folder that goes with it, little leaves. There's some thread, well, it's linen thread, but you can stitch with this if you have a big enough needle to thread this through. And then there's these Cajun craze and gold dots that go with it. And then the paper. So catalogs and looking at things online never do it justice, because you can tell when, so if it's just designer series paper, usually it's like the $17 mark. And then it'll say, so this one is a specialty designer series paper. So when it has this specialty, usually there's something special about it. So that like it's got some kind of foiling or something. So this paper has this beautiful foiling throughout it. Like some of these leaves have like the gold foil. I don't know if I'm catching that on camera, but it's just, let me pull this out. It's a beautiful, beautiful paper. So my samples that I made, I used this paper, but I didn't want to use the second page of this in case I wanted it for something else. So I'm going to choose a different piece, and I'm hoping you'll help me choose which one to use. So these are those two. I think I've already flipped them so you can see, like, just neutral, beautiful. It's hard because the neutral side is really pretty, but then the foil side is super pretty too. So it's hard to know what do I use. Anyways, all right. So these are the two choices I have for my one sheet wonder. This one's going to be a little bit more difficult because it's a dark side on one side and the old olive is a bit darker, but I really like the stripes. It's kind of along the same lines as the plaid that I used for my sample. Then this is the other option, which is kind of busy, but it's light and neutral. And then this side is uber busy and more colorful. So I'm not sure which way to go. Let me know if you want to see one or the other, or maybe I mismatched them. I don't know, because really it's not mismatching. And I wanted to stick with the whole one sheet wonder of using only one sheet, but you'll see in my samples that you can use, like it is only cutting up one sheet technically, but maybe it'd be good to see both. Green stripe. All right, let's do the green stripe. It is different, and we will, I was tempted to use that one from the get-go anyways. So we've got our one sheet, and then along with that, I said that you would need a few ink pads, some blends, a blending brush. You need some coordinating cardstock. So to make it work technically, you need three pieces of colored cardstock that coordinates. So you could do whatever colors, all the same color. In my samples, I just used the basic beige and the early espresso, and then I took two more pieces of it and split them in half. So I had 3 early espresso and 3 basic beige, and then I used the basic beige and early espresso pieces left over for sentiments and those kind of things. And then I still had a piece of basic white that I could stamp and die cut and work with. So up to you on that stuff. It totally depends on what you are playing with. What else? Blending brush, I said that. And then of course a paper trimmer, bone folder. If you want an embossing folder, you can add, like, the more stuff you have that coordinates, the more you can do. All right, so then I'm assuming I'm allowed to show this. Stampin' Up! Had given us this guide when we were doing the craft along with them. So basically you're cutting your 12 by 12 into 4-inch, like 3 4-inch sections, and then cutting them from there. Now I switched up my middle piece a little bit. Obviously you can change things up as little or as much as you want. These are kind of the card sketches that they gave with it, but if you're just working out of the catalog, these are kind of the basic sketches of what they've done here, but it's nice because you can see how you can kind of think outside the box when they're giving. So like this one has a circle and a rectangle. It doesn't mean it has to be a circle and a rectangle. To me, there needs to be a cluster of something here, and then this is probably a sentiment of some sort. And then you've got your background piece. So you can think of it very literally and do exactly what it is and make it super simple. Just have designer series paper, a shape, and a sentiment kind of thing. They recommended, and probably I looked through what's available in terms of like labels and stuff, and this is probably one of the best dies to use. It's an older die, so a lot of people will have it. It's the Stylish Shapes dies, so that's what I've used with mine. All right, so I'm going to cut the first one. So they're all, so 4 8 12 gives you the 3 strips. All right, so we'll cut it at 4, and then we'll cut this one at 4. And then I could cut the 2 pieces together since they are both the same. So you're going to do a 5 1/4. And then 5 1/4. And then you end up with 2 1.5 inch by 4 strips. And then with this one, we are going, so I ended up doing a 4 by 4. Well, let's just do it the other way. So this is 4, so 2 3/4. I did, but I wanted it the other way. Oh well. This is what happens when you have stripes. It might not end up in the direction that you want. So you kind of have to think about that a little bit before you do that. Then we have the 5 1/4 one, which this one really doesn't have to be 5 1/4. You want to make sure that this piece is what you want it to be, which it should, if I did my math right. Let's just in case. I wanted this to be 4. So I ended up doing a 4 by 4 square. I think in theirs it was a 4 by 3 3/4. And then this one ends up being 5 1/4. Yes, because this one I made it a little bit smaller because I wanted it to be even all the way around, whereas I think theirs that they did wasn't even spacing all around. So those are my designer series paper. Then I'm going to need my card bases. So I'm not sure which colors I will use yet at this point. I did some going this way and some going the other way. I'll do that again just so you can, you don't always have to have the same old boring card base. You can change it up a little bit. Starting to wonder, I got really hot last week during my live for the first time ever, and it's happening again, and I'm wondering if it's the lights in here or something. I don't know. It's not that hot out today. Getting old, getting the hot flashes or something. I don't know. All right, so we've got 6, because we're making 6 cards. We need 6 card bases, and we've got 6 well, we've got more than 6 pieces of designer series paper. So if we figure, okay, so I like the green on here. There's one that's a bit small. The smaller one is on its own. I think I like that. This really pops. I like how that pops on there. And then let's see, I don't know if the green on green, because I feel like I would need something behind it. Menopause, yeah. But it only happens during my live with happy menopause. Oh, that'd be funny. I'm not sure about this green on green, but if we're using this set, I prefer the neutrals. I'm like a neutral gal, so I'm gonna do like the same as before. Where did my other brown sheet? I like my early espresso. Okay, so now do we want this one, or I think we'll go with this one. And then we need one where it's completely backwards. Did I already do 3 of these? We don't want all 3. Well, maybe 1, 2. Oh, and then this one would be like this. Or if we wanted it to pop, we could go like this. Well, we'll play around. I might switch things up as I go. And then this one I'm gonna use to cut out, and that goes on this one. Okay, so card number 1 is it'll be one of these. It'll be this one. Okay, let's start with card number 1. And we'll move this out of the way. I don't have, my arms aren't long enough. I have a big table, but I can't reach across to get to it. So in the catalog, we will take our samples out. So I don't know if you noticed, but so card number 1, or what they are calling card number 1, they started with this paper with the white background, and they took the blending brush and they added color to it. So I don't know how well it's going to work on this. On my plaid, it worked very well because I was doing it onto white and basic beige. This one is Old Olive, so we'll see. I think I'm going to try with the early espresso and see what happens. Or I could just use Old Olive and make it darker. What do you think? Old Olive or early espresso? Should I try and go brown on top of the green, or should I do green on green? Let me, while that takes its time to come in, I'm gonna find my green brush. Oh, I had the brown one out. Espresso. Okay. Let's try it and see what happens. Some ink and our brush here. Oh, this is gonna get messy. Okay, so with the dark inks, I like to really smush it around before I go onto my paper. Otherwise, you get that funky. It does take a bit longer though, because you don't have as much ink. This is going to take a lot of ink. What do you think? Am I trying to like really make it brown, or am I trying to just... So if you really want it dark, you could use a brayer to add the ink, which would go much quicker, but it would be very dark. Or you could even use the ink pad. See, I think to me that is as dark. Like, I don't think I want full on espresso. I wish I could, oh, I could test a side that I'm gonna use facing down, right? So this one's gonna be facing down. So let's see if I just put a bit of, what happens with that? So it still has a bit of, I kind of like the softness, but this is, you could do it either way. It just depends on the look you're going for. We'll take the slow boat to China since I don't have my brayer out. I'll just not worry about the ink as much and go a little heavier. But you can see I got a swirl on there, but then, you know, if you blend it enough, it'll blend in. My hands are gonna be very brown after this. They're brown on this side, now they're gonna be darker on the inside, lighter on the outside. I just had a thought for one of the other ones. The light bulb went off. Let me just grab a wipe. I have to go. I have a full box from Costco. I just need to go find a new package. This is the last one. All right, so it still has a bit of green to it. I don't know if it'd be better without the green hue. Or with. Let's see, where's that other one? If it dried a little bit. I think this still has the green hue to it, so unless somehow you miraculously soaked it, I don't think it'll get rid of it, but it does give you a different, excuse me, a different look. All right, so I'm gonna fold my card base. So you'll see these cards are super quick and easy. I mean, the part that takes longer is deciding what you want to do. And if you're going to do die cuts and those kind of things, it takes longer, obviously. I feel like I'm getting this. Probably should have wiped the paper because the foil resists the ink, and then I'm probably getting, yeah, more ink everywhere. So that's the base, and then I have pre-cut, where did they go? Somewhere. They are somewhere here. I think you go down there. Okay, so I pre-cut some shapes here with my extra pieces, and I think, oh, I've really changed this up. What do we want to do? We want the brown. We'll have to see with the pieces and parts. Now, the part I didn't pre-cut is in my card. I stamped the leaves and the acorn onto a piece of basic white, and then I die cut them. But you can also fussy cut leaves out of the designer series paper if you want more bling to your life. I'll just show. These are really fun stamps. They're kind of like those distinctive. Like, it doesn't look like it's inked properly. You just have to trust. Trust in the process. And then, oh, maybe I should clean that because I'll probably do some. So I just took the colors that were in the papers. So I have Cajun Craze, Crushed Curry, Early Espresso, Old Olive, and Basic Beige. Now, you don't need to have that many colors. You can get away with as few or as many as you would like. I just re-inked this Early Espresso, so it's like extra juicy. Sometimes it's good, and sometimes the color I find is just that little bit too dark, but then it also makes it easier to stamp off and get that color that you want. Now, I used crushed curry in my other one because there was a bit of crushed curry on the paper, but I think I'm gonna use Basic Beige for this instead. It might be a little bit boring, but that's okay. And then for my sentiment, I used the Your Friendship Means the World to Me. I stamped it with Versamark and added gold embossing powder. Now I wonder if I should cut all this stuff out and actually assemble it, because otherwise we won't see what it looks like with this background. I was just gonna do the, okay, so this is the one with the white plaid and then colored with Early Espresso. So it turns out, like, I love how it just, it's almost like the Basic Beige resists. I mean, it still turns brown, but it's lighter. So even though there was two different colors here, it looks like there's lots of color. And then the only color that was here was the crushed curry and then the gold foiling. So let me quickly run these through. I won't run the three of them. I'll run one because there's only one of those. I don't want to take forever. I'm gonna take it over off camera. Do a quick, I keep saying I'm gonna get a die cut cam. Just haven't done it. Of course I have to run it again anyways because I put them too close together. Okay, I know one of the other demonstrators I've seen, I don't even know if you guys can hear me right now. She just aims her camera when she's at her, so you can see her, kind of. You don't get a blank nothing. Okay, if I was wearing my microphone, that would probably work better. Okay, let's see now. And then we need to stamp this with the gold powder. And where's my embossing with Buddy. Can't forget the important part. Oh, you could hear me all the way over. Well, that's good to know. I thought I'd be like way out of range of the mic. Is this okay? These ones were cut funny. They're very high up on the stamp, so I always have to remember when I'm stamping that it's closer to the top. See, in some ways I'm kind of glad that the cling is going away, because for sentiments, cling shouldn't be a thing unless you use, then you need your stamp positioning tool, and that just takes more time. I know they say that red rubber is more, it's better for like these kind of stamps with all the just like the distinctive where there's more detail. But I've also heard the flip side of other companies saying that photopolymer has come such a long way that it's not really an issue anymore. So I guess we'll see once we only have photopolymer if we still get the distinctive kind of stamps or if they're more basic. All right, let me just heat this up. Like, it's funny how green this looks even with the early espresso on it compared to, I wonder if I should have used like an old olive for my sentiment. All right, so you can get fancy with your sentiments, or you can just have a lighter neutral color and use that. So then you can just add your pieces and parts. So instead of like in the sketch, there's a circle, but instead of a circle, I've got, you know, just a cluster of, so it's a different look, but still just as cute. So that's card number 1. I'm not going to take the time to glue it down or we will be here forever and ever a day. Okay, so card number 2 is this one. So they've colored in the tree. Now in my sample, I added some lines with early espresso, and that was instead of coloring in. So for this one, if I can find my pieces now. So this is another one with the this. I'm thinking, what if I come in and color the lines with Old Olive or even a Mossy Meadow? Let's start with Old Olive. Now, I didn't remember to check before coming on, but our markers are being retired as well. These are going to be no longer. They're only going to have the alcohol blends markers. And these were redesigned only like this, I think for maybe last year, I guess. Oh, this is an old one. Hang on, I need to get the new one because I need the tip. Ugh. Okay, oh, that's Mossy Meadow. Let's see. This must be, let's find her. Oh, I think this one. This might be Old Olive. Okay, so this is the old one, the old one, where it was the plastic tip for the fine tip. The new ones that are now retiring had a beautiful fine tip, but it was like a marker tip. And then it has the brush end. and they just redesigned these, and they're, I think because they're just not, I think the blends are more popular. People don't use these as much. So what I'm thinking is maybe so every third line is light. So what if we did the first one or the middle one dark? I'm thinking. Thanks for watching, Yolande. I think today I should have time to come hop onto your stream. So here I'm going to use the brush tip. It's not that much darker. A little bit if I go over it enough. I wonder if I should use, the blends because it'd be quicker, or I just thought with the blends it would bleed more, or I could do Mossy Meadow, which would definitely be darker. Okay, so we've got that. Let's just see if I can stay in the lines without the ruler. Be quicker, yes. A bit faster. It almost seems like coloring on here is dry, but there's no, it's brand new. It can't be dry. No. It must just be the way it, well, it's probably just a very similar color, so it doesn't, I have to go over it more to make it darker. Anyways, yeah, so you could totally change up the pattern. I could have done the light one darker, but I think that would have just made it look completely uniform all the way across. So this way I've got dark, medium, medium, light. I could do Mossy Meadow, also darkest, dark, medium, light, but I think this just creates a bit of a different look. The other option you can do, depending on your designer series paper, is if there's nothing to color on it, or you don't have the, you could always stamp some background on it. That's another option. Oh, I don't, maybe it's the glasses. I don't wear these glasses very often because I have to change, like I can't wear them all the time. So they're in my craft room, but I tend not to go get them to put them on. And I know I put them on last week and now I'm getting dizzy. So I'm like, oh, maybe it's the glasses. And then I get hot because I'm dizzy. I don't know. All right. So that's, you know, if you look at the original to this one, it's a little bit of a different look. So we'll go with that for this. And then I just need to score a line. I don't like folding when the base is long like this. I find when you fold, it doesn't like to fold as nicely, and sometimes it creases funny. So make sure I'm not using my cutter. That would be bad. And I'll just okay. And then we've got okay, and then we just have a very simple, now I wonder if I should have done this in brown. I'm thinking brown would look better here, although I did forget to cut myself a piece of, here I've got this onto white maybe, or this I like it better this way. So let's get the die. So this skinnier die, I'm just gonna cut it out of here quickly. Quickly. And then we need a piece of the this, or do we want old olive maybe? Let's see. A piece of, no, that gets lost. So a piece of an inch and a little bit longer. Like that. And then for this one, I use the Thankful for You, and we'll use the gold again, just because, you know, with the nice foiling on the paper, it's nice to kind of accentuate that gold. Now, it is easier, I think, to stamp on a piece of paper first and then die cut it. But for the sake of trying to save time, I tried to die cut first. Okay, I'll add the powder. And then, because you can see, I put it down a little bit low. Hello, Linda. You're back from your appointment. I'm only on card number 2. So you can join in. I'm being slow. This is what happens when I reinvent the wheel again. Too much thinking. Overthinking, I think. I think I'm an overthinker. I left the other one straight, but I'm thinking I might angle. Let's see what this looks like with a little bit of an angle. Should I have 2 angles or should it be straight? Maybe straight. I'm changing my mind. And then I can fussy cut. See, I should have done all this off camera because in my mind I thought, oh, I won't, and maybe I won't. Maybe I'll do like last week and just take pictures, because this will be like a 3-hour video otherwise. Maybe not. What time is it? Oh, yeah. It's already 1:45. My goodness, how did I only do 1 card? Because I was showing all the newly released stuff. Okay, but you can add, now with all the gold here, I don't know, I might want to stamp instead of using gold, more gold. Where's my other card that I just stamped those hairlets? So this was the first card. Let's just add some of these stamped items here instead of and then they had a little stamped mushroom here. What did I do with it? Well, it disappeared. It's been sitting out. Anyways, could add a little mushroom, but where's my, so this is the one with the plaid that I did, and this is the one with this designer series paper. But you can see it's like quick, easy, and you just add, I just added that marker to add some difference to the designer series paper. All right, next. Like I said, I'll finish them all and then I'll post those finished cards. For now, you're just gonna see the sample cards. Okay, so for this one, let's find the card base here. I'm trying not to knock over all my dies and all that. There's all the card bases. So this one will be, not this one. Is it gonna be, no, that was gonna be on there. So we could do this one on here, I guess. Or one, two. So that one we had there. Okay, we'll do it on this one. So we've got an early espresso card base. So for the third one, this is kind of, they used, this suite has a beautiful die that kind of cuts the background, and then they ended up cutting out the designer series paper. Now, since my paper is fairly kind of just geometric, I'm going to keep it as it is. And then what I decided to do was, because this suite has these nice big huge leaves, I'm going to cut it out of just a piece of early espresso. So you've got the darkness on top, which kind of changes it up. So I will cut this out. Like so. And then you end up with these. You don't, so like I said earlier, you don't have to put the holes in. You could just cut out the solid leaf, which is what I'm going to do on one of the other ones. But if you put the holes in, then you can stitch through the holes, which is what I did here. I took some gold thread and I stitched through all the holes. So it's already pre-designed for you. You don't have to come up with, you know, how am I going to stitch this? How is it going to look? Just follow the holes. And then I added my sentiment. Now I used, because I was thinking maybe a brown. I keep changing it up. Brown on brown. This almost needs like a old olive maybe. Sentiment. Maybe not. Maybe this is okay. Anyways, that'll have the many thanks. So I will stitch this up and finish that. So that one's super easy and quick. You're not really adding anything to your designer series paper. Okay, and then for the fourth one, that's this one. This is the one with the smaller piece. This is the one I went to 4x4 instead of 4x3. 3 3/4 or something, I think was their original plan. So I've got the 4x4 here, and I'm going to use my basic beige. And that's going to come like so. Well, let's see when we cut this out. So I'm going to take my leaf, the other big leaf this time, the nice maple leaf, and I'm going to cut my leaf out of the foiled side, and no stitching. You could do stitching if you wanted more stitching. I just want to show you the difference. I think the stitching, I'd seen it with other companies last year. They had a whole advent calendar with stitching, and I just think it's such a relaxing thing to do. Like, I don't know, I could just cut out a bunch and just do some stitching in front of the TV. And I just think it's a different thing to do. So then doesn't that pop? Pops nicely. And then my sentiment, I'm looking for, I had a piece of foil here somewhere, all my and all my stuff that I can't find. Here it is. Found it. Okay, I didn't have a long enough piece, so this isn't quite gonna look the same as my sample, but it'll be close. So they call this champagne on the back of the designer series paper, so it's not quite as bright as the gold. And this is it was like a brushed metallic. It's old, it's long gone, and this is the last of what I have, unfortunately. But I found it was kind of the closest to, the gold was just too yellowy compared to, but the gold embossing powder works just fine. So you could probably just use gold foil. I just thought this was, so now this is going to be just, yeah, it should be, maybe I should cut this down. I don't know. Anyways, you can see they use the foiling there. And then our leaf, and then a sentiment. So they used a square, I used a circle, and I used the circle because I found in order to fit the gather, if you had a smaller sentiment, you could totally do the smaller square, but for the size square that I needed was the similar size to this circle, and then you can imagine it's just covering that much more of everything, and I just found it was too big, so I used the circle instead of the square on this. But again, it's all just like, these templates are just suggestions, right? You can change it up as much or as little as you want. So that's those two. And then the hopefully that didn't end things. I have it set to not ring till 1 o'clock, or so I thought. Maybe it's only till 12:50. I'll have to adjust that. So right now I've got it on here, but on my other one I did dark, and then I did these with the dark circle. But now if I go like this and like this, I'm not going to want a dark circle. I'm going to want a lighter circle. Okay, well, we'll have to change that up again. But here's the finished. So I punched out, you've seen me do the cut up the line and through. I like to, just because not everybody has a punch, but if you have either the tailored tag punch or the one that has kind of a slightly rounded end, we also have a 3 punch that you can do different size banners with, that this fits in as well. You can totally just cut out your, so this one will be less, I used the banner punch for that one. This one, if I just kind of, you're just lining it up, but it's slightly less steep. So obviously, or you could do a whole other shape. You could do it at an angle. You could just leave it as rectangles, whatever you want, however it works. But that's, and then I just stamped and die cut leaves again, or like I said before, you could fussy cut and use. So on this one, I'd probably use the foiled leaves because the gold foiling is underneath and this is plain, whereas on this one I didn't want the gold because it would compete with the gold on top. So just keep that in mind when you're doing your choices. Oh, and I can't see it, but I did emboss the leaves on this one because the paper was more plain. I don't know if I do it this way, if I'd want to emboss that. And then the last but not least is card number 6. And we've got, I feel like you could get away with it like this, but I feel like it's a little bit plain. I don't know about you. I'm thinking maybe a piece of early espresso behind it would be nice. I don't know. I think either way is good, or even, what if we did like, no, I think I'd want it all the way around if I did that. That's pretty though. That would be pretty. Anywho, okay, I'm just gonna put this down. This is a new runner. Oh, it's catching on the, and I know I've had other people. It rolls so nicely at the beginning. If you don't kind of break it off well, it pulls off, and then you're always fighting trying to get it started again. It's just kind of a, you just gotta get used to. I've been using glue so much I haven't even used my seal. All right, and then, so in my original, I had a completely opposite color scheme here. So I had the early espresso, so I did it this way. It still looks kind of like it works. I could even add something like this. And then you could add just an acorn, or you can add leaves. Now, again, I think, well, this works because the gold wasn't too much, but I think maybe doing stamped leaves here instead of the gold foiled leaves might be better. I'm not sure. Anyways, but you can see you could leave it plain too. Now, in all my cards, I did add the little Cajun craze and gold dots. So let me move all of this, and I will put out the 6 finished cards, and I will finish this set and post them so you can see two different, I mean, it's the same suite, but it's two different cards. So this was card number 1. This was number 6. I think that was 4 or 5. 4. Three, 2, 1. There we go. Okie dokie. Let's see. Let's make sure they're all on screen. Okay, so those are the 6 cards made with 1 sheet of 12 by 12 of the, what is this one called again? Gathering Together Suite, which is one of the new online exclusives. And then if you, for another idea, this one is on page 42 of the new mini catalog. Yeah, I love this paper. You could use it for Christmas too. It's really versatile and masculine and all the things. I love it. And I love the stitching originality of the dies. Anyways, yeah. So did you order this one? I don't know. You haven't ordered any of this stuff yet. So anyways, maybe you'll have to come visit and play with some of this. All right, have a great rest of your week. I should be here next week for another live with lots of new products. I don't know if I'll do a kind of an everything or just pick another suite of things. I am working on my list of classes for the fall. I do have a club starting. I have not put it together and figured it out. I'm changing the format of it and I haven't had time to figure out the whole how to mail it and how much all that's gonna cost. I'm trying to keep it in the same cost bracket as my usual club. But if you're interested in doing my usual monthly club, let me know and I'll make sure to send you the information. All right. Have a great rest of your week. Bye.